Can you hear me?
I can.
Oh,
All
good.
right. There we go. Awesome. Okay. Thanks everybody for your patience today. We were having some
Mm,
technological challenges, but we are here.
we're
We're
good.
with you. We're ready to rock and roll, talk about this upcoming Virgo New Moon, which is on the 27th of August at 4:17 a.m. Eastern, 1:16-17 a.m. Pacific. I am Amalia Natalio with KarmicKindness, and Madelaine Parker is the astrologer extraordinaire that is joining me today to talk about this new moon. Welcome, Madelaine.
Hello, Amalia. Good to be here. Thanks for having me.
Of
So
course.
excited to talk about this full new moon coming up. It's going to be interesting.
It definitely is. I was doing a little research myself and just kind of looking at the aspects and different energies that are going to be at play this new moon. And wowee. I mean, it seems
Yeah.
like every cosmic chat that we have, there's some sort of like tweaky little thing, like something that's going to shake things up. I can't recall the last kind of smooth, newer full moon cycle that we've had.
Mm,
They tend to be a little more rock and roll kind of vibe, and this one is no exception.
yep.
I want to just kind of bring us back to the Aquarius full moon, as that seems to be the start of a little bit of this upheaval that's continuing as we go on over these next few weeks. And I think for a lot of people that I have been talking to, and I'd be curious, Madelaine, what's been showing up with your clients, this past Aquarius full moon, we're still in that full moon energy now as we're sharing the information about the upcoming new moon, was really about just a lot of frustration, and maybe to the point, not quite anger, but maybe on the edge of anger is what I've been noticing. We have some squares coming up this new moon cycle that I think is going to push people into the anger place versus hanging out on the periphery. But frustrations, huge theme, an absolute huge theme for myself.
Especially with Virgo. Yes. Virgo represents the sixth house in astrology is considered the house of frustration, daily frustrations and irritations. And that is, this full moon is in Virgo, which is the sixth house. So yeah, that's definitely part of the story.
Yeah. Well, and I think the other piece of this is, in the last moon cycle, the one that we're in now, that's not even the sixth house. We're talking the 11th with Aquarius having the full moon in Aquarius. Then it's kind of like we're continuing that story with what you were saying with the Virgo sixth house of the frustration. And then there's a square to Mars, which is anger, impatience, more frustration. And so I think that what I would like to just share with everyone today is just take a deep breath. It's not going to last forever. It's moving you towards something better. And there is, with Virgo energy, this sense of some day-to-day shifts that can be really transformative. And so keeping that in mind might be somewhat helpful when you're in the thick of whatever you might be experiencing. So yeah, so Madelaine, what would you like to share about this Virgo new moon?
Yeah, I mean, the interesting thing, of course, is it's ruled by Mercury, and Mercury is going to go retrograde soon. So it's sort of, and it's having a major square. We've got a Mercury, the Venus, let me just see who the square is involving. I forgot who it is. Let's see. So we have a square involving Venus at 19 degrees Leo. And is this the full
It's
moon?
Venus square Uranus and Venus opposing Saturn. So
so Venus squaring Uranus opposing Saturn. So, and then Mercury, what's Mercury doing? Mercury is trining Mars at that time. And Mars is going into the sign of Mercury of Gemini. Mars is currently moved into the sign of Gemini. And sorry for all the noises. And Venus, so it is, and don't forget Uranus is a higher octave of Mercury. So should I share the screen? Should we take a look?
Sure. Let me give you permission to do that. Just one second.
Yeah, this way everyone can see. I'm very visual. I like to look at my astrology visually through not like reading the transits. I like to look at the picture. Are we ready? Should I do it? Okay,
yeah.
Great.
I think
okay.
you're good.
Good. Yeah. So here is the night. I'm going to take something out. I like to put it into whole sign, and I like to take out the ascendant and MC because that's not a planet. So let's take those out. And then we get a really clean view of what's going on. So we've got Sun squaring Mars. So that's what we've got in here. We've got a Mars square, and Mars is in the sign of Mercury, in the Gemini, ruled by Mercury. And we have this conjunction of the sun and the moon in a Virgo ruled energy, squaring Mars in Virgo. I mean, in its Mercury rulership, as it were. Venus is also squaring Uranus and Mars. So in my opinion, this is the point at which, because whenever we get Mars squares, you really are sort of being forced into the right direction. So how it's going to happen is through Mercury. It's going to happen through communication, information, ideas, short distance travel, small businesses. We're going to go in deeper on this, but Mercury is interchangeable. It's a very changeable energy. And as we have the nodes in this Uranus Mars square that we're coming out of, with Mars in that picture, which really involves us all pivoting and changing major directions in our life, for better or worse, but eventually for better. These squares will tilt you. Whenever you get a Mars square, it's a portal of energy that comes through the universe that's like shoots in really, really strong. And it can play out as frustrations and blocks that get broken through. You're breaking through them. So Mercury is coming in on this full new moon with new information, new ideas, planting new seeds that are practical, Virgo is a very practical energy. Yeah. Also, it is the Hermit card in tarot, so it represents being alone, being by yourself, getting these ideas, getting these downloads. People will probably be getting a lot of downloads that will help you have clarity, or with ideas that help you through these areas of frustrations. But whenever you get squares, you're being blocked. Things are being blocked, and it involves Venus, Saturn, and Uranus. So we have a romantic element or a financial element, especially with Venus in the sign of Leo. It's very romantic, very passionate. So you're looking at potentially very passionate reconciliations and romance, Mars in the picture, breakthroughs in relationships, breakthroughs through stagnant issues and problems that have been in relationships, sudden breakthroughs. They could be arguments. There could be, because we got Venus opposing Saturn. So we've got Venus coming in, standing up against a rigidity of Saturn and Aquarius, the creative, passionate Leo energy, romantic, going up against some sort of rigid, shall we say, oppressive energy, breaking it through, breaking out of that, because we got Uranus in the mix. So it's like a sudden breakthrough of something. And we've got communication in the mix. So it could be very much relationship reconciliation energies, because we also do have a trine to Juno. You see, we've got a Uranus sextiling Juno in all of this, and we have Mars sextiling Jupiter, and Neptune, which is a higher octane of Venus, sextiling Pluto. So this could be a very passionate romantic energy for a lot of people, breakthroughs with that Leo energy. Now with the Virgo energy too, we're looking at practical decisions, practical new beginnings that involve these new breakthroughs. So you're getting these breakthroughs of barriers that were stopping people from going forward in their missions, in their projects, in their divine relationships, or in relationships in general, because Venus can represent any kind of a contracted relationship. So is that, am I, you on with me? Are you connecting?
Yeah, I totally get that. I wanted to add one small aspect that we don't usually bring into the mix today, but feels really important to mention, is that from a numerological perspective, so bringing a little numerology into the mix, the 27th, if you reduce that down to a single digit, is the number 9. And in the numerology of Moses, 9 is power. It's the proper use of power. And so this strikes me with the square with Mars, that there may be some power struggles. There may be issues within your own circles, not just on the collective scale, but on an individual level. Be aware of that, be aware of the power struggles or the power plays, or maybe where you are putting your will over someone else, for instance. It's not always towards, you out. It can also be coming at you too. So.
Thank you for bringing that up, because I forget to mention that Mercury is in the sign of Libra during this period, which again is the sign of the relationship. So it's like Gemini, Mars is in Gemini, the sign of relationships. It's the Lover's card in tarot. Venus is very much a romantic energy. It's the lovers. It's also finances, but it's also things that please you. Leo, it's in the sign of passion. Then we've got Virgo and the moon, the sun going into newly. This is all happening at a very low degree of Virgo. Yeah. So it's like, we really are talking about preparing. It's like these squares come in to get us ready and get things done before the retrograde, before other things. The universe has everything in alignment for a reason. These are all happening. These squares come in to get you going, to get you on task, on target, doing the things that need to be done. And Virgo is precise, detailed, precision. So it's little niggly things that haven't been done, that need to be done, that haven't been done right, or that are in the way, because Mercury, these squares are making you go back. Saturn involved, making you go back, do it right, cross your lines, dot your T's, cross your T's, dot. I always get that wrong.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I know what you're saying. So and that totally makes sense.
So we're going to have to kind of take care of fine detail things, depending on what house Virgo covers for your chart. For me, it's in the 3rd house. So that's extra busy. 3rd house is busy energy. Virgo is busy energy. So it's like busy doing little annoying, frustrating little tasks that need to be done in order for the big change to happen that's occurring. And don't forget, we still have that Saturn squaring Uranus. So we really are restructuring our lives completely. Everybody I know from the reads that I'm doing, everybody really is. These are massive changes. People are taking sudden massive changes. Suddenly they're redoing their houses and they're moving out, like boom, in a week's notice. Like they realize the plumbing is all wrong and they need to redo it. Things like that. So it's like there's sudden shifts and changes occurring in everybody's lives. And the Virgo new moon is coming in and going, okay, now you got to take care of these things in order for it to be complete, for the details to be taken care of. You're going to be busy. You could be, if for instance, if you have Virgo in your home area, I do have my IC in Virgo. So I'm probably going to be very, very busy in my apartment, my property, because I've got projects going on there to seal them up because I'm going to travel. So, it's going to be a busy time for everybody. Virgo is a busy energy and it's preparing you. School season is coming in. Yeah. These new projects are sort of starting. There's important little details, things that need to be taken care of. But again, there's a very strong romantic, we can't deny that we've got Venus in the mix with Jupiter being sextiled. Oftentimes Mars is sextiling Jupiter. Oftentimes Jupiter can be the masculine, Venus, the feminine. So the moon and the sun are feminine and masculine. So we're seeing a harmonizing of the two forces coming together to really initiate and start, because at early degree Virgo, you're taking these are new projects. These are new initiations that we are now taking the necessary, detailed, precise, not necessarily what you want to be spending your time doing, because it's not necessarily like Venus stuff. It's important stuff, but it feels good to get it done. It's clean, organized it, you took care of it, and it's over with, and now you can proceed forward. And Virgo's a structuring energy. It's an earth energy, so it's commitment. It's a day-to-day energy. So you're shifting your day-to-day life in some way too by all of these energies.
Yeah,
sorry, my computer's rocking back and forth, giving you seasickness.
So yeah, it's very practical. That's how I think of it. Very, very practical. It's like, okay, the steps I need to take in order to complete a task or to get something done. It's also new, like fresh feeling. Yeah. When you're able to embark on something.
Yeah. I mean, we're preparing for the Libra season, which is the new cardinal season, which is when we take a dramatic shift in the weather. And so, we're going to have quite a few planets in retrograde at that point. I think we've got Jupiter, Saturn,
Neptune, Pluto currently.
Yeah.
And Uranus is stationing.
So, we're going, it's sort of an interesting energy of starting new on things that are real and true to us. And with that Mercury coming into retrograde, and this is very much a ruled by Mercury new moon, we're really preparing for the we're really going in and making sure that all of these things that we are initiating are in alignment with ourselves, our soul, our inner desires, what's right for us, what's real, because that's the only thing that really lasts. With Saturn in the picture, things are blocked and slowed down to make sure you're in the right path, the right structures being built. So, you got to go back and redo things. So and with that square, we've got that Virgo energy with the Saturn energy. So we really are like grounding, putting in nails and creating a solid foundation somewhere in our lives.
So let's talk about it. Let's talk about
let's
what
go
this
for
means
it.
for all 12 signs. So we'll start
let
with
me
Aries.
Get my chart up here.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, I take a moment of breath because I was at that technical problems, or I'm going to solve them for once and for sure one day. Okay, so we're going to look at where, shall we say, everybody's chart has Mercury, and then I guess we could look at Leo because we've got Venus in Leo. So with Aries, Venus is in your 5th house, which is great, but it's squaring the square is between Venus in your 5th house and, gosh, why am I blanking? Where's the square? My brain. Remind me the square. Squaring.
I don't know which one you're going for because
this
Venus
chart of the moment.
Uranus.
Yeah, Venus is there. We go. Okay, good. I found it. So we've got Venus in Leo squaring Uranus in your 2nd house, and your 4th house is, we got Aquarius is in your 11th house. So we're looking at this full moon, new moon is in your 6th house of Virgo, and Mars is in your 3rd house, but it's squaring your 2nd house. And sorry, I keep jumping around. Okay, it's the new moon is in your 6th house, but Venus is squaring Uranus in your 2nd house, and Saturn is in your 11th. So what you're looking at here is a shift from some kind of a financial endeavor, a sudden shift and change into your day-to-day living activities. Day-to-day, you could get involved in writing. By the way, Virgo is a writing project. It's very much writer, the thinker, the ideas, day-to-day. Also the healer, medicines, health. Health is very much Virgo energy. So you will suddenly possibly meet a new person that you get involved in some kind of a work venture, because it's squaring your Leo. So there's a creative project involved because Leo, you've got Venus in Leo. So you're going to suddenly become shifted towards a creative project that shifts. Something is going to happen. This could be actually really good news too, but it shifts your direction because some kind of an opportunity could come in, because Gemini often is the messenger. Mercury is the messenger with news. So it's very possible with the sudden Uranus Taurus in your 2nd house, there's a sudden shift or change of your day-to-day living because of a romantic or creative project involved. That involves social media or your tribes group. I know an Aries rising theater director who suddenly there could be a breakthrough over a creative project. So that helps him basically break through limitations of details. And in other words, breaking through some sort of a limitation that was limiting you from doing something creative or being more creative or letting go. So a lot of these energies are forcing us to let go of our control. So it's almost like Aries are going to let go of control and just go with it and go with some sort of creative and let go of what people think of them a little more. Leo is passion. So Aries have Leo over their 5th house. So they tend to be really creative and good at performing and good in front of people. So it's almost like a creative project that shifts your finances. You have to start writing. It could be a writing project. You have to start, but you're going to break through Aquarian, what people think of you, limitations through, because you've had Saturn in your 11th house. So there would have been some sort of a limitation or some sort of a blockage going on amongst people and tribes. or social media or technologies or evolving your life and your career will open up through some sort of social media theme. Aquarian, revolutionary, releasing freedom, financial emancipation. So to round up for Aries, a creative project involving Leo, passionate, creative, fun, making you money, but you have to break through a barrier that your thinking may have had around this. But communication and ideas come in that possibly tilt you to have to take care of some frustrating details that enable this to go forward. Does that make sense?
It does make sense. That's great. And I feel like too, when it comes to Aries, if they can recognize what's happening and release control, this will be so much easier for them.
Yes.
Because that's a difficult thing for Aries to do, is to release control.
Yes. And their ruling planet is Mars, and Mars is going to be going into Mars is in Gemini. So, and for you guys, for Aries, it's the third house. So it's busy writing projects, ideas, short distance travel, busy time for Aries for sure, because their Mercury rules their third house, and Mercury also rules their sixth house, third and sixth. So, there's going to be a square there too. So for Aries, it's busy, frustrating, taking care of things, having to get it done. There's a pressure, but it'll be good. It feels really good afterwards. It's like, oh, you did it. You got through this and you made it. And now things look really good and secure for a while.
The other thing I want to mention too, with the sixth house for Aries, is that's your day-to-day, but it's also your health. And so really keep in mind that if you are struggling with some sort of health issue, and that could be any type of health, mental health, physical health, emotional health, whatever it is, this is a prime time for a new start there in that area of your life, to really take advantage of this time when it comes to your healing journey as well. So just another little footnote.
Yes. And that's a big aspect of it. There might be something, they change their health. There's a new beginning that they go on a cleanse, they do something about their health, they start to pay more attention to their health.
Yeah.
All of that.
Awesome. All right.
Taurus.
So Taurus, let's see what you got. What's your?
Yeah, well, you got this Uranus squaring Saturn, squaring Venus in you've got your first house, fourth, and 10th. So and then you've got this Virgo new moon in your fifth house. So possibly issues involving your children, because fifth house can be children, a sudden shift or change in a situation involving your children. But again, it could be that you have to do a lot of detail-oriented, precise stuff. You could get pregnant with this new moon in your fifth house in the sign of Virgo. Mars going into your second house, financing. Mars is going to be in Gemini for like 7 months. So it's really interesting that this new moon happens in Virgo, Mercury rulership, as Mars goes into its Mercury, into a sign ruled by Mercury. So there's going to be, you could really move, you could find a new living situation, but you could also very much, this could be very strong career shift in your life, very much a sudden shift in career, because it involves your 10th house, and new beginnings in your work, redefinition, because Uranus is sudden surprise. So Taurans are going through major changes in their whole identity and Taurans are going through so much changes. That's a whole podcast for Taurans. So I could get really deep, but with them, they're learning to not be so secure, but not there. In other words, they've made so much security in their lives that they created sort of a trap. And now that they are breaking out of this sort of secure trap, they're going to be very happy, because this new moon can enable them to create certain securities and certain stabilities around this freedom, as it were. That's hard for Taurans. They like stable, secure, they're fixed signs. So this new moon is going to change things. It says it's a mutable new moon. It changes your mind. It changes things. It makes, but detailed, small, individual things. So they're going to become very busy, either with your children, with a creative project. If you're a performer, Taurus, you're learning lines, you're getting very busy around fifth house things. And you have Venus in your fourth house. So that's creating like you could very well be moving or very passionate or working very hard on your property, changing it. And then we've got the 10th house. So your career is involved too, a sudden shift and change in career for Taurans, or something about your work. You could suddenly decide to retire. I know somebody who has this transit, and they shifted their career in the sense that they stopped taking on certain clients after a certain hour, and they've shifted their time, their schedule, and now they're only working within a certain frame, and they're going and having more fun. Leo is all about more fun. Venus and Leo squaring a lot, squaring all of this. So it's like opposing Saturn, not working so hard, trying to rearrange and restructure your life so you don't have to work so hard. You know, that's another way to look at the Venus opposing Saturn.
That sounds
finding a balance, you know.
That sounds really great. And I can speak for myself and my guy, where I'm shifting some things with work, and he is too, but he's definitely struggling more with the trying to find what's working and what's not, and what's fitting and doesn't. And so I think it's very interesting that, you know, we're in a similar, we have the same moon sign, and we're dealing with similar things, but they're showing up in slightly different ways.
Right. And one thing yes. The good news I forgot to mention though is this ruling. See, Mercury is in Libra, which is to find balance and harmony. So there's probably arguments around relationships, but then if some sort of a harmony is created, and then look, at trines Mars. So that's a really good breakthrough we are looking at, like things becoming clear, breakthroughs. Through possible arguments and, like you said, power struggles. But there is some sort of a harmony achieved through that Mercury, the sign that's ruling Gemini right now, the planet that's ruling Mars right now, Mercury, is causing Mars to kind of find that aggro energy of Mars is having to find a way, find a common ground.
And that overall is a really positive thing.
Yeah.
You know, to be able to have differing ideas and beliefs, but find that middle ground where each of you can stand individually. Right.
So,
okay. Now moving on to Gemini.
So Gemini, you guys, well, you know, this is your ruling planet, Mercury, and it's in your first, Gemini is, you have Mars in your first house for the next 7 months. So you guys are going to be, also Mars and Gemini is like mentally really busy minded, mind. So everybody's got to calm your minds down, focus. That's why you want to go a little hermit on this energy, is just sort of allow the thoughts to stay calm, and make sure you have allow the right thoughts to be coming in, not just chatter mind, busy mind. So everyone wants to be cognizant of your mind and where you are putting your thoughts. You want to focus your thoughts on this new beginning and what material and what detailed, precise. It's we've got to focus. This is a focus period. So for Gemini, you're going to be very focused, and you've got Venus in your third house, small business, distance travels, squaring so you've got your trining Mars. You're being trined by Mercury. Your ascendant is being trined by Mercury. So that's really great. In Libra, it's trining your ascendant. So that's going to be great news coming in, but it's going to somehow shift. It could put you into travel or taking a new course, but you're going to, because it's squaring your Aquarius house, and so Saturn is in Aquarius, squaring your Taurus house. Where is your Taurus house? Where are you, Taurus? Like 12th house. Okay, so some deep issues could come up with that. Uranus squaring spiritual, kind of squaring your 9th house. So you're like a big shift in belief systems. This is very mental, because Uranus is a higher octave of Mercury. So squaring your 12th house is deep. This is deep connection to yourself and your soul and what you really want, communicating it. You're ruled by this planet, ideas, downloads. Again, this is very much tagged on to the last reading for Gemini, which was to really find their soul's calling, to find that genius within them. They're seeking that, because Geminis are brilliant. It's a mental brilliance. They're brilliant minds. And so they want to really stretch their minds. They find that to be very fulfilling. And so I think Geminis are really going to reach to kind of go high with their consciousness, because that Aquarius in their ninth house. Also sudden need to travel could show up, and squaring Venus in your third house. Also writing projects could coach some kind of a frustration over daily living too, day to day. There's frustrations in this energy, very much so for Gemini. Some sort of, but you're going to break through it around these thoughts that have been, like, there's going to be a belief system breakthrough in these thoughts that have stopped you from really being more mentally expansive. That's going to be a frustrating breakthrough, if that makes sense. Like frustration over why something you can't connect, or something isn't working around your life that you're really yearning for. And then they're going to get some kind of a breakthrough there.
So fourth house is also moving. So could there be the potential of a move for Gemini?
Oh yeah. Fourth house moving. Yep. Good for saying that. So yep. Fourth house, Mercury is in their fourth house. So something could change. A lot of this Mercury energy is mind changing ideas, like a change of mind. You might suddenly change your mind to move, and suddenly change your mind something about your house, or to redo the bathroom, and suddenly have this idea to break the wall out and open it up and turn it into a studio, and you're going to start filming your creative projects from, or start writing from, or something like that.
Could it be that if you wanted to sell and move, you change your mind and decide not to?
That's exactly could happen.
Either way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Prepare for when you have a square involving, but Mercury is trining Mars in its rulership. So there's this partnership between Mercury and Mars, like they're in cahoots. They're happy about it all. But Venus opposing Saturn squaring Uranus is like, no, this is the way it's going to go. And then it trines. It's kind of like there's a frustration, and then we go through the opening. The trine is like the flow, where it's going to flow. Yeah. So that is a nice thing to have that trine at the same time as the square. So
it softens it.
Yes. It helps us through it.
Yeah.
But it's going to give us the way through it as well. Right. And so for Gemini, the way through is the Mercury trining Mars, and it is all about Gemini. It's all about Mercury, your ruling planet. It's going to be very powerful for Gemini. They really will make a big mental mind shift. I think it's mercurial for everybody. It's changing minds, but for Gemini, it's on your ascendant. You really change your mind, like big time.
Yeah, it's inevitable. All right, so Cancer.
Yeah. Cancer, you guys have this Leo in your second house, is just great for finances. You have Venus transiting there. And then you've got this Virgo full moon in your third house, busy, writing, short distance traveling, working on your home, packing if you're traveling. Because a lot of Cancers have Pisces ninth house. So a lot of stuff's been going on, opening doors for traveling for Cancer. So you might be very busy setting up, organizing things, packing, moving, writing, signing documents. Third house is also documents. Venus is also documented relationships, might be signing contracts, finishing up projects, detailed stuff, busy energy for you guys. Could be around property, real estate, because you have Mercury in your fourth house. But Virgo rules your third and your 12th. So you've got Mars entering your 12th. You're preparing for some kind of either course study. Cancers will probably be very much more in the background, because they've got Mars for the next 7 months in their 12th house. So they're going to be either learning something, they're going to be studying.
So Madelaine, can you hear me? I don't know if you can. Signal is not great. It actually sounds like music that's coming through. It's kind of funny. Let's see if her video stabilizes and she comes back. We'll see. Sorry, guys. For those of you who've been with Madelaine and I for a while, you know that her internet where she is not super. And so we have this we have had this issue off and on for a while, and we thought we had it solved, but it's kind of given us a little trouble right now too. So let's see if she, okay, I guess we're going to wait for her to pop back on. So you're stuck with just me for a little while. She was talking about Cancer, and I'm going to kind of pick up where she left off when it comes to the third house. She alluded to it already, writing, short distance travel. It is this kind of mental energy too. So a lot of thinking, a lot of, trying to sort things in your mind also. Learning, communicating, it's all things that have to do, and it's Mercury, third house is Mercury ruled. So there will be likely maybe some frustrations and blocks when it comes to communication, a lot of emails and conversations and things like that may relate to projects or things that you have going on. I'm going to just share just a little bit more on general terms while we wait for Madelaine to pop back in about some of the energy that's at play now, and how I'm be curious if anybody wants to chime in on the chat, what's been showing up for you I think Madelaine's back. But if you want to chime in on the chat, like what's been showing up for you as frustrations, or what would you feel like you might need a little bit of guidance on, let us know in the chat. And if you're catching this on the replay, leave a comment and we'll pop in and give you an answer if we're able. Okay, so Madelaine, are you back? I see your icon on the screen, but I don't see you. Or I don't hear you, rather. Let's see. Okay.
I'm here.
There you are.
My phone was baking hot. It was on the bench, and I'm getting hotspot from my phone. And oh my God, my thought was like,
oh no.
I know. It's like I'm thinking about 5 things that I have to think about, and then I didn't think about that. But anyway, okay. All right. So back on. We are with Cancer. Sorry, everybody.
Yeah, that's
all
okay.
Right.
I think we got that pretty much summarized.
Okay, good. So now
we have a question coming from a gal named Karen. Thank you, Karen, for being here, and everyone else who's also joining us. She was asking about the decade, whether the decade will be turbulent. And so we're talking new moon at the moment, Karen, but I will say that we've, when it comes to like a decade long spread, we definitely have a lot of turbulent energy that is at play right now, and likely will be hanging around from what I've looked at. And Madelaine, you tell me if this is the case from what you see too, is it'll be hanging around through the end of this year, maybe into early 2023. And then things start to settle down a bit. But from what I'm looking at and what I see, October tends to be like the big, like explosive month. We've got a little bit in September, but October definitely seems to be the one that's got a little bit of bite to it.
Right. Well, if you want to look at the decade is probably better than the last decade. I mean, I'd love to do a whole report about the whole decade. This decade is going to be a lot better because we've got Pluto, but Pluto will go into Aquarius next year. So when Pluto goes into Aquarius, we're all going to have a much better experience. But things are going to be much better. So we could do a report. Actually, that would be fun to do a study on the decade ahead, because with Jupiter, we can look at what Jupiter's going to be doing, because Jupiter's going to be in a lot of really strong energies for the next 5 years. So I think we have really much better times ahead. That's my opinion. And we have this last Leo full moon was very auspicious. So everybody's got some really abundant thing opening up for them somewhere in their chart right now. And as soon as Saturn goes direct in October, a lot of the things that have been blocked and frustrating for everybody are going to open up and flow. So that's what we're preparing for when this new moon is getting our ducks in a row for things really launching forward in October when things open up where we have been blocked.
Right.
Okay, so we got to get on the ball here because I've only got half a charge left on my laptop. But
okay, all right. Yeah, so we're gonna zip through the other side. Okay. Yeah.
Now we are going to look at Leo. And So with Leo, wow, you guys have the Venus in your first house, which is great for Leo. You're going to have Virgo in your second house. So this is a new financial beginning involving finances, businesses, money, details around property, around work, a new beginning in a job and work that requires a lot of precision, detailed. You have Virgo over your second house, so that is very much involved with how you earn money anyway. You have Libra, third house, which means Mercury is in your third house. So businesses, contracts, short distance travel, again, busy time for Leo. You're going to have Aquarius in your seventh house. Wow, relationship, sudden shift and change in relationships. And Taurus in your 10th house and career. You suddenly could start a business, Leo, could suddenly start a contracted business relationship for your career. Your finances shift and change over this, and it's frustrating details. You might have to, also with squares, can be severing. A lot of people can sever ties or sever contracts or sever relationships because they aren't right. The square is going to have you end things that aren't right. So for Leo, you might end a contract or something because Mars can third house. Mars can be like ending things. Mercury can too. So there's like this sort of sharp, sudden shift and change. You might quit a situation and suddenly change your career. Taurus in your 10th house, career, sudden, spontaneous, kind of out of the blue decision to start a business or end a business. Or what do you have in your fourth house? I was going to say move or change, but that's really your second and third houses being activated, and Mars in your 11th house. So, you guys, Leo, are going to suddenly do some kind of a dramatic shift and change in career and earning of income that liberates you more, but there's going to be some sort of a frustration loophole you're going to have to jump through to liberate you or to really set yourself. All of these energies are trying to help us set us up for more security and structured. So you're going to have to deal, and these are the frustrating detailed structures that we have to deal with. So involving creative, Leos are creatives, a creative solution, frustration. So it's like you're going to be creatively finding a solution through, because we've got Mercury trining Mars in your Gemini house, and Mercury is in the sign of Libra. So it's like a trine. So your third and 11th houses. So through friendships or groups, some kind of a creative breakthrough in your finances. It's very possible. Let me give an example for Leo, that you maybe get promoted in your job, but you have to finish a frustrating project that creates some kind of a conflict in a situation that you have to clear up through communication, and then you clear it up, and then you look really great, and then everything goes flow for you. But there could be some kind of a frustration or some kind of a, like, for instance, let's say you have a vision to change direction in your company that you work, and you really want it to work this way, and they don't like it. Well, now you get into a really strong opposition with someone, and now they agree or they see a way through. There's a compromise here, a middle ground found with that Libra in Mercury. And remember, this whole thing is being ruled by Mercury in the sign of Libra. So we're finding a balanced resolve around something. Conflict in relationships being resolved, but they might spur up in the process. All right, Virgo. Virgo, full moon in your own house, new moon on you. You become the initiator of new ideas and new ventures. But again, there's a frustration here involved. But so it's going to trine Mars, and Mars is going to trine your ascendant all year. So this is great for Virgo. And you're going to be like ideas for businesses, detailed precision. You're going to be focused. You're going to be doing detailed things. Again, you might be facing frustrations of things you haven't dealt with in the past that needed to be done, because Virgo are really good at kind of getting off the mark, like getting so into something that they lose the path. And so they have to reshift and go back and do it the right way, go the other way. With Aquarius in your 6th house, day-to-day things suddenly changing. And Taurus in your 9th house, sudden belief shift. But again, and then you've got Mars entering your 10th house of career, all for 7 months. So this is a new beginning in a career project. Mercury, new idea, new business coming in, giving you ideas. You have to take care of some kind of oppositions, or some kind of, you have to find a balance between Venus and Saturn in this whole Mercury, in this whole new moon. We have to find a balance between Venus and Saturn. So there's some sort of a relationship struggle that will find a middle ground. And again, this can be a career or working relationship, but you're finding a frustration breakthrough to an agreement, because your ruling planet is in the sign of Libra. So your ruling planet is now finding a harmonic resolve over an issue that you were not, that was blocked, that was blocking some kind of a project or a prospect or going forward. So this argument that will most likely occur in your life will find balance between Saturn and Mercury. And Saturn is often the rules, the regulations, can be your other half, father, parent, restrictive energies. So Venus is, there's going to be a balance in this square, Uranus, that favors who's going to win in the square, Venus, Uranus, or Saturn. Could be with Mercury in the picture in Libra. I think everybody finds a happy ground. Hard to believe, but it's possible.
Well, we're going to just hold that.
Yeah.
As what is to come.
Yes. So
Hold
for
that
Virgo,
energy and vibe.
wrapping that up, a sudden shift and change in your day-to-day life, new ideas, possible business, communication. You have Aquarius in your 6th house. So the square is involving your 12th and your 5th. That's an opposition. I'm sorry, 5th. Yeah. And so that is shifting in a whole life shift change. Yeah, your whole life will probably shift and change in this new moon. It's a Virgo new moon. It should, because it's squaring your 6th, it's opposing your 6th and 12th house. So it's like shift and change complete. You might quit something, you might quit alcohol, you might do something very drastic that you quit that really does help you come forward, move forward through. And it is involving your health, or could be more discipline, or you quit. You could really do a massive cleanup of your apartment and your home, and you quit clutter, something like that. But this is a very new, brand new beginning where you're clearing your slate, you're starting over, you're finding your clarity on what to focus on, and dealing with frustrating blocks, and being able to do it. When these squares come up, they look frustrating and they look hard, but really what you're being given is an opportunity to break through them. So that's for Virgo.
Yeah. So Libra,
you guys have Mercury in your sign right now. And it is trining Gemini in your 9th house. So communication, ideas about beliefs or systems. You may even decide to start a course or start a writing project, or Libras are good writers. So you might, and Gemini, this is all writing energy, Mercury. So you might suddenly decide to go to college, start an education program, because you're going to have Mars in your 9th house for a long time. You might decide to teach. You might also decide to travel and work and write. That would be fun, huh? Travel and write. That would be awesome. And you have Virgo in your 12th house. So you may kind of go hermit for a while and start a writing project, or get very focused on something out in the country away. I know a Libra whose North Node is in Virgo, so they might end up becoming much more focused in the 12th house on their project, on their mission. They become more introspective in this new moon. It's a very introspective new moon for Virgo. You might come up with some really good writing ideas or creative project ideas, because remember, Venus is in Leo. It's a very creative energy, Venus in Leo. So a writing project involving internet. Maybe you work on a writing project involving a tribe group, or somehow it involves the social media, or it could be a writing project about Uranus and social media things. Because you've got Leo over your 11th house, a creative project involving tribe members, involving the Uranus concept, liberation, creative project that liberates you, that you work on, that ideas. And Virgo is also small business. It's writing, it's busyness. I'm sorry, the 3rd house, Mercury is. So there could be you're going to be busy out in your own world, busy, detailed, focused, working on some kind of a project or a new idea. And with Mercury in your 2nd house, it's most likely going to have a financial opportunity involved. It's not just going to be doing it just for no money. There's going to be a good financial opportunity instigating this project, because Virgo, Libra in your second house with Mercury in your second house, this is about finances. This is giving you a financial opportunity. Okay. Mercury is the opportunity. It's the messenger. In tarot, it's the page, brings you opportunity. Good news.
Okay. I know.
So
Scorpio?
Scorpio. So you guys have Aquarius in your fourth house. You suddenly move. But that could have already happened because we had Mars, that could have already happened. But Leo, Venus in your 10th house, creative project involving your career, 11th house, Virgo. You could meet somebody, a new person, a new friendship that opens up a whole new friends group for you. And Mercury in your 12th house, kind of similar to Libra in a way that you start writing or working on something. You become, let's find Gemini in your 8th house. Oh, you could get funding involving a project. You could, this new moon in your 8th house could initiate some kind of a financial opportunity that opens up. There could be a frustration over your 8th house too. Don't forget, this is ruling this Scorpio. Your 8th house is ruled, no, your 11th house is ruled by Virgo. Your 8th house is ruled by Gemini. So these are, Mars is there. It's Virgo is trining your 8th house. So this is an opportunity could come through where you could get windfall of some kind of income or finances. But remember, we are frustrated too. So it's some sort of frustration to clear a debt, involve details you have to do to clear a debt, or you will meet new people that enable you to work on a project where you you could suddenly meet somebody and then you refinance what's in your 4th house. You could move and refinance your property and move, because we've got Aquarius in your 4th house. Suddenly you refinance your property and opportunity, and you meet some kind of something on the internet, or you find a really good deal on the internet, a really good interest rate. You refinance your property that it pays off a debt in your 8th house. Mars is in your 8th house. Sorry. Virgo.
So I'll throw an example into the ring. So maybe it's a situation where you meet someone, you're looking to buy a house for instance, and you meet someone who was selling their house, and it's a sudden encounter and a change, and you move.
Right.
Something like that.
That's it. Yep. And also Aquarius is in your 4th house, Taurus is your 7th house. You could get into a relationship. You suddenly get into a relationship, and they support you or help you out of your debt, or you co-finance together something, because Mars is in your 8th house. You could also get in debt, so be careful not to get into debt. Too bad. But watch that one. But it enables you also, I think, to get out of debt as well, because Mars ends things, squares things. It's a squaring energy, so it could terminate a debt, or you could end a relationship where you're supported, and then another opportunity comes in that supports you, because this involves Scorpio. It involves moving and 7th house of relationships. There's definitely a relationship shift happening for Scorpio in this energy, because this is ongoing though, but it could be an opportunity. You're probably going to, a lot of Scorpios will probably end a relationship in these energies when Mars goes into the 8th house for sure. Or you could get involved in a true relationship and you have passionate mad sex in the 8th house. That's another thing. Passion, Venus and Leo, and 10th house can sometimes mean husband, or your emperor could be, but also normally the 10th house is work and career. So it does shift and change a creative project in your career house too. So
lots of options for
Scorpio are definitely, Mercury rules your 8th and 11th houses. So new people, new relationships, new beginnings, communication, projects, ideas. All right, Scorpio.
All right. Yep. So let's move on to Sagittarius before your battery dies.
Oh yeah, Sagittarius. So Sagittarius, you guys have Aquarius in your 3rd house, and Taurus in your 6th house, and Venus in your 9th. So you're opposing a new belief that causes you to shift and change, or you could start a creative course. You could start teaching a creative course. I might be doing that. I actually really am. Actually, it's funny. I really did start to come up with more creative ideas for some of my workshops and have more fun and make them more creative. And, you know, perfecting our abilities to connect with the unseen realms and connect with our inner knowing and all that. So I'm coming up with a course for that. And then we've got Virgo in your 10th house, Sagittarius. So that's like a new beginning in your career. An opportunity comes in, but again, it comes with frustrations. This is all being squared, but Virgo is trining your Mars, is trining your 7th house of relationships. So this is very much very, 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 very good relationship opportunity coming in. That does involve career mission. A lot of twin flames are coming into mission and really initiating their missions right now. So for Sagittarius, it's very strong travel, short distance travel, making you very busy. You've got Taurus in your 6th house, 10th house career, travel. Sagittarius could have a very busy travel year too, which is actually what I'm planning to do. I'm planning to travel all year. So we've got Leo and Virgo. So you've got a new beginning and a new career. Yay, a new opportunity coming in, career for Sagittarians, but involving a frustration, involving now let's say it is your twin flame and you're going into mission. You might have a conflict around your twin flame, around some sort of philosophy or some sort of, because it's involving your Leo. It's spiritual, creative project involving spiritualism. So squaring your 3rd house, opposing your 3rd house, squaring your 6th house. So there could be a very irritated frustration, but argument with a divine mate, or simply things shifting and changing so rapidly that you go a new way that does really make your life very busy. And we are talking about Mercury energies, which is writing, communication, small distance travel, talking to people, ideas, severing certain projects that aren't good and starting the ones that are, or focusing on the right thing. This I'm going to title this focusing on the thing, detail, precision, focus on the area that is going to really matter. There we go. There's
the theme.
Yeah. And frustrations involved, because let's say you've got to deal with all your receipts and then you discover you've been so unorganized with all your receipts and you've got like about 5 gallons worth of receipts to go through and you're like, oh my gosh. But if you do it, you get this big deduction, you know, and so you've got to do it.
You got to do it.
Yeah. So, okay, now let's jump into Capricorn.
Yes.
So you've got your Mercury houses are the 9th and Gemini, Mars in your 6th house. Ooh, talk about busy energies for you guys with Mars, Gemini in your 6th house. And Aquarius, sudden shift and changes in career occurring, more creative, by the way, for Capricorn. They're all reaching to be more creative, having more faith because they got Leo, Venus in their 8th house. They could come into a windfall through their romantic relationship. There could be financial benefits and help and aid through a relationship, marriage, partnership, or through refinancing or outside funding. Because you've got Venus and Leo. Capricorn could get funding for a creative project. Like I know a Capricorn who could actually get some kind of a contract with a band they're working with. They could get a contract, and then that's a very creative project for Capricorn. In general, creative projects for Capricorn are opening up more because the universe is trying to head Capricorn to a more creative bent. With Venus and Leo, it's about passionate creativity. So Virgo is in your 9th house. So this new moon is in your 9th house. You might learn, get a new belief system, start a new project. You might start traveling, preparing plans, detailed. You might sign up for a new course. But new ideas, new belief systems, practical. It's all very practical. Virgo is practical. You do it, you're busy, and you're signing papers and you're taking care of it. You're joining a new course or you're signing documents to travel, a work project to travel. Libra is in your 10th house, career for you guys, because Mars is going to be in your 6th house. Again, all the work houses are very activated for Capricorn. Okay, except for Taurus in your 5th house. So there's this creative element, but we've got Aquarius in your 2nd, Gemini in your 6th, Virgo in your 9th, and Mercury in your 10th, ruling your 10th right now. So you guys have got busy writing, mercurial energies involved with work, short distance travel, projects, ideas, all of that, but busyness and having to frustratingly deal with a lot of things in a very short amount of time. That's the way it looks like. Okay, now we're going to move on to Aquarius. Nothing like the battery bar going lower to move you along. Okay, so now we are with Aquarius. Well, shocking again, this all continues for Aquarius. You guys have suddenly changed and shifted all year. You've still got Saturn squaring your ascendant all year. Actually, I don't know when it ends. It ends maybe in a next year, but you've got Taurus in your fourth house. Again, sudden shifts and changing, involving property, real estate, moving, family. Leo in your seventh house of relationships. You may be I'll take a minute. You've had some kind of a frustration involving a creative project in a creative, it could be with your spouse. Like I know an Aquarius who's working on redoing houses and properties and Airbnbs. So this could be a very conflicting period where you get into creative argument and power struggles over creative ideas. Gemini in your fifth house, Mars there, you could get into conflict. But eighth house, Virgo, but you break through, you maybe decide to take on or pay off or sell off something that pays off a credit or a debt or refinances another opportunity to start again or start another Airbnb project or something, because that Virgo in your eighth house, you suddenly get an opportunity involving outside resources that comes in, that emancipates you or enables you to change your mind, or you find the resolve to your conflict and finance another project that from outside sources that really focuses this new moon is all about your eighth house. It's all about outside financing. So it's possible you get a contract you could get funding to write a project at home, or you could get funding to redevelop a property and refinance a property. And and it's frustrating because you have to, maybe they don't want to give it to you for some reason, and you have to go into an argument or power struggle with your spouse and redo the documents or redo something to send it to them. That kind of energy. So it's busy involving financing. Okay.
I think that's the theme. Busy
Yes.
for everybody.
Yes, busy energies. And it is that time of the year. You know, before I studied astrology, I knew that Septembers were always busy for me, and I never knew why. And that's because Virgo is my third house. So every time Virgo season comes, it activates my third house. The third house is your busy house. So I was prepared. Yeah. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yep. And
all
every
right.
year.
Home stretch, Pisces.
Pisces. Woohoo. Pisces. Taurus in your third house. Again, sudden shift and changes in day-to-day activities, moving here and there, busy again. Gemini, your fourth house, you could move, new beginnings. Mars is in your fourth house for 7 months. You've got Leo in your sixth house, work house. Virgo in your seventh house, a relationship comes in with a new opportunity that gives you a creative project. There might be an argument or some kind of goes against your ideas or your beliefs or what you want to do. Pisces are challenging in the sense that they have very locked in their minds and they have very rigid thinking. Surprising for a water sign, but they can be. And I know. And so the Virgo is going to come in and really change their mind and change their direction. And it's possible with the Mercury in your eighth house that you do get some kind of funding involved in this. Again, eighth house, I also want to mention with Mars in your eighth house, it could be very passionate sexual energy coming in for Pisces, passionate. And this is Virgo, your relationship house. There could be a relationship, new start in a beginning relationship that is good because Virgo, these energies with that square, it's going to be a relationship that you may have had a block with, that a disagreement with, that you find a breakthrough because you're going to have this trine, Mercury Mars trine. Mars is in your fourth house and Mercury is in your seventh. You could very much move and change your whole family setup and live with somebody. I mean, I'm Pisces moon, that could happen to me, I guess. So a relationship comes in with a working project, a new beginning, a contract that you sign, a new contract, you sign a contract. It's possible that you move, you live in a new property with that person, but it's also very much a work thing because of the sixth house Leo Venus. So it's involving a creative project, involving your creative talent. Pisces have Leo over their sixth house, which means they have a lot of creative talent involving their work. Most Pisces are artists or creatives. I'm a hidden creative. Late on my moon is whatever your moon is what's the secret about you. I'm secretly creative. And
have Neptune in my 5th house. So I'm not that artistic. I enjoy art and creativity, but it's not my biggest strength, but it's something I play with. But for Pisces, this is going that maybe I do get involved in a creative project. That would be really great. And for Pisces, it looks like a very beautiful, fantastic creative project comes in that trines your 4th, that trines your relationship houses. It's fantastic for you guys. But again, there's a frustration involved that, or a blockage, or something that goes against your belief. Like, I know Pisces ascendant, this opportunity is not going to be what they really wanted. But it's for everybody, this can go, it may not be exactly how you think. There's going to be an edge to it that's the universe's version of your idea.
Yeah.
And lining up to the universe's idea of our lives and our ideas of our lives is really what this is all about. It's like finding that middle path that we're in alignment with, where the universe is trying to send us, because that's the where the doors are open. So to summarize, this whole full new moon is brand new beginnings in detailed, precise things, busyness, causing frustrations, irritations, possible conflicts, and power struggles in love, romantic relationships, but ultimately breaking through sort of barriers that are mental, because it's a very mental energy, and we're really shifting out of our mental perceptions and taking that energy and focusing it in other words, joining the mind space with the destiny of Mercury, aligning your headspace with the ideas that are the universe is trying to align us with. So it's very mental energy. So it's about focusing. So taking all that mental, extraneous monkey mind, mental energy, and it's being forced to deal with and focus on the areas that it needs to, because really 30% of your effort, 30% of your effort actually is the only amount that really does anything. Like, all the effort you do out of 100%, 30% of it actually really does anything for you. It's because only 30% of your Mars energy is really in alignment. So this Mercury square is coming in to like align you and put your mind in alignment so that you can then follow your actions with it. And so this square is going to come in and show you where you've been off, where your ideas have been wrong, or forced you in a direction that wasn't your true destiny. So these planets are coming in, getting you mentally in alignment, which then pulls your actions into right alignment. There's my summary.
I'm exhausted just thinking about this new moon energy. There's so much going on. You did a fantastic job, and you made it
Amalia.
to the end without your battery conking out.
Oh
so
my gosh.
Bravo.
One day this will resolve very soon. That's one of the things that's going to resolve in my life, because this problem will be gone, because I'm going to get permanent internet service, real Wi-Fi.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yes. Woo-hoo.
That's awesome.
And you remember the frustration that was involved right before that. It's like that frustration gets to the point where you have to do something about it. This isn't going to work. So it's like, this is a new path.
Right. You get to that. I think that's similar to a dark night of the soul. You get taken down to your knees and you go, this way is not working. I'm open to another way.
Yeah.
And
Yep. That's what's going to happen here. Excellent. That's a beautiful way to summarize it. Yep.
Yeah.
Well,
all right,
thanks, Amalia, for hanging in there with me with this.
Of course. And thank you everybody who joined us now or later. If you have other questions, pop them in the comments, and we'll peek in every now and then and see if we can support you. Madelaine, thank you so much.
Yeah.
And we will see
if you want a personal chart reading to see how these Mars and all these energies are going to be personally affecting you, hit either Amalia and I up, and we will help you out.
Absolutely. So Madelaine can do the astrology, and I can help with some other spiritual sciences and resets and getting to know yourself through another lens. So yeah, we're here. They
all help. All those ways are great.
Yeah.
The more angles you go at yourself, the more you know yourself, the more you understand how your picture looks in relation to this, the better and easier it is for you. So
absolutely. 1,000%. So, all right.
Have a wonderful week, Amalia. Take care, everybody.
You
Thanks
too.
for joining.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.